Do you know any teenagers feeling super stressed right now? Anybody have teenagers at the table?
I have one, but he's not stressed.
He's chilling.
He's chilling. He's chilling like a villain.
Well, a new report from Common Sense Media finds that more than a quarter of American teens ages 13 to 17 feel stressed due to so-called grind culture. That's the pressure that teens face to excel in academics and social life and even how they look. 81% say they feel negative pressure in at least one area of their lives. Dr. Sue Varma, a board-certified psychiatrist, joins us now. She is the author of Practical Optimism, a book that I have. Dr. Varma, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So what is this grind culture, and what are some of the top stressors teens are facing right now?
So grind culture is about like hustling, bringing your A game, but the top three things that teens are most stressed about is attractiveness and fitting into trends, whether it's makeup, clothing, outfits, and very specific trends, like is your jaw chiseled? Do you have six-pack abs? Do your arms and shoulders look a certain way? Does your back look a certain way?
Yikes.
Then there's academic achievement, but not just academic, sports, and not just sports for boys. Sports for girls and boys is correlated with attractiveness and popularity in middle school. And then you have your action plan. You have to have your whole life figured out.
Really?
Yes.
It wasn't just like, I'll pick my major when I get to college?
No, and that's the thing that I was most taken back by, that to have your entire life figured out. I mean, at one point it was like, okay, you're in high school, you're figuring out college, you're figuring out grad school, but everything from relationships to where do you want to live, where do you want to work, do you have a cool internship, is your job cooler than mine? So it's a lot of achievement, but then it's like pitting friends and peers against each other.
I was all ready to blame college pressure for all this, but when you're not talking about academic performance, but just sort of how you look,
Yes.
where does that pressure come from?
Yes. Well, I think social media, and look, the thing that's so difficult is that social media can be a good place for people to feel included and to see themselves in. But at the same time, the trends, you're being bombarded. You're not just being bombarded by your immediate group, but you're being bombarded by billions of people who live all over the world. So there's this like generic trend that we're all trying to fit into, like they call Instagram face.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's trying to conform to this not natural look.
Yes.
And that's just taking away from people growing up and being kids.
And aesthetic treatment. So cosmetic treatments, Botox for younger and younger people, like in their early 20s as a preventative, which is a little bit scary.
So, do you have a...
Well, I was just going to say that, I mean, do you think it's getting worse, or are we just measuring it in new ways? Because, I mean, I went to high school in the 90s. I can't speak for what girls were going through, but boys were definitely going through body dysmorphia, feeling like they weren't big enough, feeling like they were chubby or whatever. Like, that was definitely happening then.
Yes, but it's a whole new level now. I mean, we've all read like the New York Times and Wall Street Journal articles about the cologne trend, right? Like 12-year-old boys, like that was never a thing.
Wait,
like,
what trend is this?
For cologne. For buying cologne. So 12-year-old boys, like I have a 12-year-old and he's obsessed. He's got 7 colognes and he's like, this is what I'm saving my money for.
Really?
And I'm like, you're not going to the club. Like, what are you doing with these colognes, right? But the other two things was altruism and being there for your teen. So that's another big pressure, like in terms of being progressive and being able to be involved in causes, but then also that you have to be there for your friends 24/7. So if I don't respond to a text message, I'm not going to feel like I'm supporting my friend's mental health. So I love the fact that you do care about causes and your friend's mental health, but is it putting a toll on your own as a result of it?
Are parents adding to this? Because parents traditionally, do put some pressure on their kids to do well in school and in their extracurriculars. And what can parents also do to help kids?
So, this is why the stress is that much more, because you're getting it from your teachers, you're getting it from your peers in order wanting to keep up with them and outdo them. So then your parents are also giving it to you, and then your coaches, so that there really isn't a safe space. I think parents can really encourage a few things. One is sleep, protected bedtime. We need that.
Without phones.
Without phones. Yeah. At least 7 to 8 hours. I mean, they need probably 10, but at least 7 to 8.
Yeah.
And then
that sounds nice.
getting face-to-face time. Teens are only spending 40 minutes a day face-to-face with their peers. This is the smallest amount in history. Parents
44 minutes a day?
Only 40 minutes a day in person with their friends. And then exercise, time in nature. Parents are also not spending time with their own friends. They're not spending time in their hobbies. This is the lowest amount of time that parents have spent in their own social lives since the 1960s. So backing off the pressure and giving your kid a hobby that has nothing to do with succeeding, right? That is not about putting it on social media. So finding and investing in a hobby for your child where there's a sense of mastery. So when I go to high schools, a lot of teens will say, I can't remember the last time I did something just for myself.
I love that.